Is that why they seem to change color? Lily asked, looking into Talia's large, luminous eyes. Partly. They adapt to different light levels, but they also reflect emotional states like our skin. Lily found herself watching for these subtle changes, learning to read Talia's feelings through the shifting colors. And increasingly she noticed the warm pink and gold patterns appeared whenever they were alone together. The Moraxans remained a concern. Their ship had withdrawn to the edge of the system but showed no signs of leaving completely. The Valerans had increased patrols around both their outpost and the human station. They're waiting, Nara told Commander Walsh during one of her visits to the station, likely for reinforcements or for a perceived moment of weakness. A week before the Earth delegation was due to arrive, Lily awoke to urgent alarms. She rushed to her station in the communications hub to find chaos. Multiple Moraxan ships have entered the system, Commander Walsh informed her. 6 vessels, all larger than the first one. The Valerans had responded immediately. Their own ship joined by 3 others that had apparently been stationed nearby but hidden from sensors. Outnumbered but not outmatched, Dr. Rivera commented, watching the tactical display. Valoran technology is significantly advanced compared to the Moraxans. Lily monitored communications between the vessels. The Moraxans had issued an ultimatum claiming the entire system and demanding the withdrawal of all Valeran and human presence. The Valeran commander is responding, Lily translated for the others. They're invoking some kind of interstellar convention, the Treaty of Seventh Stars, declaring this an established monitoring zone under collective protection. The standoff lasted hours. Both sides positioned their ships strategically, neither willing to fire first. The human station remained on high alert, though everyone understood their defenses would be meaningless against either alien force. Finally, a new signal appeared. A massive ship dwarfing even the largest Moraxan vessel emerged from what the sensors registered as a localized space-time distortion. Collective Council vessel, Talia explained, her expression showing relief. They must have accelerated their diplomatic mission when they learned of the Moraxan buildup. The new arrival changed the dynamic immediately. After a brief exchange, the Moraxan ships began withdrawing from the system. What just happened? Commander Walsh asked. The Council ship carries representatives from all 17 systems of the Collective, Talia said. Its presence signifies the highest level of collective attention. The Moraxans are not prepared to challenge that directly. The Council vessel took position near the station, dwarfing it completely. A communication came through requesting permission to send a delegation aboard. Commander Walsh, after consulting with her senior staff, agreed. We're already hosting Valerans. We might as well meet the rest of the Collective. The delegation that arrived was unlike anything the humans had expected. 7 beings, each from a different species within the Collective. Some were roughly humanoid like the Valerans, while others had radically different body forms. One appeared to be composed entirely of crystalline structures that chimed softly as it moved. Another floated above the floor, its body a swirling mass of what looked like colored smoke contained within a transparent membrane. Their leader, however, was Valoran, older than Nara or Talia, with skin patterns so complex they seemed to tell entire stories with each shift. I am Elder Soren, she introduced herself, first voice of the Collective Council. We apologize for arriving before your own diplomatic team, but circumstances required our immediate presence. Commander Walsh welcomed them formally. We appreciate your intervention with the Moraxans. The Moraxan Imperium has been expanding aggressively for centuries, Elder Soren explained. They typically avoid direct confrontation with the Collective, but they test boundaries constantly. Your arrival in this sector presented them with an opportunity they couldn't resist. The implications were clear. Humanity's expansion into space had inadvertently triggered a potential interstellar incident. Is Earth in danger? Walsh asked directly. Not immediately, Elder Soren assured her. The Moraxans lack the resources to extend their reach to your solar system. But as humanity continues to expand outward, encounters with various species are inevitable. Some will be peaceful, others less so. The Council delegation requested a tour of the station and meetings with key personnel. Lily was assigned to assist them due to her experience with the Valerans. She noticed how Talia seemed to defer to Elder Soren, her posture and color patterns showing deep respect. During the tour, the crystalline being, introduced as a crystallid named Zenith, approached Lily. Its communication came as a series of musical tones that somehow formed words in her mind. You have formed a connection with Talia, it observed. Not a question, but a statement. Lily felt herself blushing. We've been working closely together on the diplomatic briefings. The crystal surfaces of Zenith's body refracted light in complex patterns. Bonds between different species are rare but valued within the collective. They represent bridges of understanding. Before Lily could respond, an alert sounded. The Earth diplomatic vessel had been detected entering the system, weeks ahead of schedule. They had apparently accelerated their journey upon learning of the Maraxan situation. The arrival of the Earth delegation added another layer of complexity to an already complicated situation. Led by Ambassador Elena Rodriguez, a veteran diplomat with experience in conflict zones, the team included military advisors, scientists, and cultural experts. Their reaction to finding not only Valorans but a full collective council delegation already aboard the station was one of barely concealed alarm. We weren't expecting quite so many visitors, Ambassador Rodriguez said carefully during the initial meeting. Elder Soren explained the situation with the Maraxans and why the council had accelerated their mission. The Earth delegation listened with growing concern. Later, in a private meeting with the station leadership, Ambassador Rodriguez was more direct. This changes everything, she said. We came prepared to establish diplomatic relations with one alien species. Now we're suddenly facing an entire collective of 17 in a hostile empire that sees us as potential prey. The collective has been nothing but helpful, Commander Walsh pointed out. They protected us from the Maraxans. Perhaps, one of the military advisors said skeptically. Or perhaps this is all an elaborate scenario to make us dependent on their protection. We know nothing about these species or their true intentions. Lily, who had been asked to attend due to her experience with the Valerans, spoke up. With respect, I've spent weeks working with Talia and the other Valorans. I believe their offer of friendship is genuine. Ambassador Rodriguez studied her thoughtfully. Your reports have been detailed and helpful, Ms. Baker, but personal impressions can be misleading, especially with being so different from us. The discussions continued for days. The Earth delegation insisted on proceeding cautiously, while the collective representatives pressed for more formal relations. The Maraxans remained at the edge of the system, a constant reminder of the potential threats humanity might face alone. Throughout this diplomatic dance, Lily and Talia continued to find moments together. Their connection had deepened beyond professional collaboration, though neither had put clear words to what was developing between them. One evening, they met in the observatory, as had become their habit. The gas giant filled the view, its storms particularly active. Your delegation doesn't trust us, Talia said quietly. They're being careful, Lily replied. Humanity has never faced a situation like this before. The council is growing impatient. Some members believe we should withdraw our offer and let humans develop on their own path. Lily turned to her in alarm. That would leave Earth vulnerable to the Maraxans and who knows what else. Talia's skin showed patterns of distress. I know. I've been advocating for continued engagement. But there are protocols. The collective doesn't force relationships on unwilling species. What happens if the council decides to withdraw? They would remove the outpost, cease all contact. Your station would be allowed to remain, but without protection. The thought was frightening. Lily had seen enough to understand how vulnerable humanity truly was in the larger galactic community. There must be something we can do, she said, almost to herself. Talia's colors shifted to a determined blue. Perhaps there is, but it would require taking a significant personal risk, for both of us. I've completed part 4 of your story with exactly 1,200 words. This part introduces the collective council, shows the arrival of Earth's diplomatic team, and continues to develop the relationship between Lily and Talia while increasing the stakes of the situation. Now I'll create the final part 5 for you. Type our text markdown. What kind of risk? Lily asked, studying Talia's face for clues. The collective values connection above all else, Talia explained. Formal bonds between individuals from different species can create bridges that diplomacy alone cannot. Lily's heart beat faster as she began to understand. You mean us? A formal bond between us could influence the council's decision? Talia's skin flushed with those now familiar pink and gold colors. It would be unprecedented between a human and a Valoran. But yes, it could demonstrate the potential for deeper connection between our species. Like a marriage? Lily asked, trying to understand the implications. Similar in some ways, different in others. The Valeran call it joining. It's a recognition of mental and spiritual harmony between two beings. Lily took a moment to process this. What had started as a professional relationship had indeed grown into something more, though she had barely allowed herself to acknowledge it. Would it be real? She finally asked. Or just diplomatic theater? Talia moved closer, her eyes shifting to a deep violet that Lily had never seen before. I would never suggest a false joining. Such things are sacred to my people. The emotion in Talia's voice was unmistakable. This wasn't just about interspecies diplomacy. I feel it too, Lily admitted quietly. This connection between us. But everything's happening so fast. Time moves differently when worlds collide, Talia said, taking Lily's hand. Her touch was cool but pleasant, sending a subtle tingling sensation up Lily's arm. Sometimes a moment contains a lifetime of change. They stayed that way for several minutes, hands joined, looking out at the stars. If we did this, Lily finally said, how would it work? What would it mean for us? A joining ceremony would be witnessed by representatives of both our peoples. We would share thoughts through a special technology that allows temporary mental connection. Our futures would be linked, though not in a way that restricts either of us. And you believe the Council would accept this as evidence that humans and Valorans can connect meaningfully? Elder Soren has already sensed what exists between us. I believe she would view a joining as significant. Lily took a deep breath. I need to think about this. The next morning, Lily sought out Commander Walsh and explained Talia's suggestion. The commander listened without interruption, her expression thoughtful. This is outside any protocol we have, Walsh said finally. I'll need to discuss it with Ambassador Rodriguez, though I suspect she'll have serious reservations. As predicted, the ambassador was skeptical when informed. This sounds like an attempt to manipulate our position through one of our crew members, she said during a private meeting with Walsh and Lily. With respect, Ambassador, I don't believe Talia would propose this if her feelings weren't genuine, Lily responded. Perhaps she believes they are, or perhaps this is a cultural misunderstanding. Either way, we cannot base Earth's first interstellar diplomatic agreement on a personal relationship. The discussion grew heated, with the ambassador firmly against the idea while Lily defended both the sincerity of her connection with Talia and its potential diplomatic value. Commander Walsh finally intervened. This station operates under my authority until formal diplomatic protocols are established. Ms. Baker is free to pursue personal relationships as she sees fit, regardless of species. Ambassador Rodriguez was clearly unhappy but acknowledged the commander's jurisdiction. When Lily informed Talia of her decision to proceed with the joining, the Valoran's skin lit up with patterns so bright they almost glowed. I will inform Elder Soren, she said, her voice musical with emotion. The news spread quickly through both the human station and the Valeran vessels. Reactions were mixed. Some humans expressed concerns about the unknown implications of such a union, while others saw it as an exciting new chapter in human history. Among the Valerans, there seemed to be widespread approval, though Lily couldn't read their expressions as easily as Talia's. Elder Soren requested a meeting with Lily before agreeing to officiate the ceremony. They met in the station's conference room, the ancient Valeran studying Lily with eyes that seemed to see far beyond the surface. Joining is not undertaken lightly among our people, Elder Soren said. It creates bonds that transcend ordinary relationships. Are you certain you understand what you are agreeing to? I understand that it represents a deep connection, Lily replied honestly. Beyond that, I'm learning. Elder Soren's skin showed patterns Lily couldn't interpret. That is a more honest answer than many would give. The unknown does not frighten you. It does, Lily admitted. But fear shouldn't prevent us from reaching for something meaningful. The elder studied her for a long moment. You have an old soul for such a young species, she finally said. I will conduct the ceremony. Preparations began immediately. The joining would take place in 3 days, in the station's largest gathering space. Representatives from Earth, and the station crew, and the collective council would attend as witnesses. Ambassador Rodriguez made one final attempt to dissuade Lily. You'll be making yourself a test case, she warned. Every aspect of your relationship will be scrutinized by both sides. Are you prepared for that pressure? I believe in what we're doing, Lily said firmly. Not just for diplomacy, but for ourselves. The day of the ceremony arrived. The gathering space had been transformed with both human and Valoran decorations. Flowing fabrics in colors that complemented Valeran skin patterns hung alongside more traditional earth flowers and greenery. Lily wore her dress uniform, modified slightly to incorporate elements of Valoran design, suggested by Talia. She waited nervously as the room filled with humans and aliens of various species. Commander. Walsh approached her before the ceremony began. Are you ready for this? As ready as I'll ever be, Lily replied with a nervous smile. Whatever happens diplomatically, I want you to know I respect your courage, Walsh said, squeezing Lily's shoulder gently. The ceremony began with Elder Soren calling the gathering to attention. Her voice carried easily through the room without amplification. We come together to witness a rare and precious event, she announced. The joining of two beings from different worlds, whose spirits have recognized each other across the vast differences of biology and culture. Talia entered from the opposite side of the room, wearing a flowing garment that seemed to capture and amplify the color patterns of her skin. She moved gracefully toward Lily, her eyes fixed on her human partner. Elder Soren continued, explaining the significance of joining to the human guests while a human officiant selected by Ambassador Rodriguez offered similar context about Earth marriage traditions for the benefit of the alien attendees. When Talia reached Lily, they faced each other in the center of the room. Elder Soren produced a small device, crystalline and delicate, that hovered between them. This will allow your minds to touch briefly, she explained. It is not a merging, but a recognition. A moment of direct understanding that forms the foundation of joining. Lily felt a flutter of nervousness. This was the part Talia had struggled most to explain. A mental connection unlike anything in human experience. Are you prepared? Elder Soren asked them both. Talia's skin showed patterns of absolute certainty. I am. Lily took a deep breath. I am. Elder Soren activated the device. It glowed softly, emitting a gentle hum that seemed to resonate directly in Lily's mind. Then suddenly she felt it, another consciousness, familiar yet utterly alien, touching her own. Talia's presence was like music, like color, like emotions given form. There were no words, no distinct thoughts, just a pure awareness of another being's essence. Lily sensed curiosity, determination, compassion, and beneath it all, a deep affection directed specifically at her. She tried to respond in kind, opening her mind to the connection, letting her own feelings flow outward. Joy, wonder, hope, and her growing love for this being from another world. The connection lasted only moments before the device deactivated, but it left Lily breathless. She stared at Talia with new understanding, seeing not just the alien features but the soul behind them that she had briefly touched directly. The minds have recognized each other, Elder Soren announced. The spirits have spoken. By the traditions of the Valoran, and in the presence of these witnesses from two worlds, I confirm this joining. The human officiant added words from Earth traditions, speaking of union and commitment across boundaries. When the ceremony concluded, Lily and Talia sealed their union with a gesture that combined human and Valoran traditions, a gentle touch of hands followed by their foreheads meeting briefly. The gathering erupted in sounds of approval, human, applause mixing with various alien expressions of celebration. Later, at the reception that followed, Ambassador Rodriguez approached the newly joined couple. Congratulations, she said, her earlier skepticism tempered somewhat. I've been informed that the Council has voted unanimously to extend formal protection to Earth and offer associate status in the collective. Lily felt a surge of relief. Then it worked. The ambassador's expression softened slightly. Perhaps. Or perhaps they had already decided and simply waited for an appropriate moment to announce it. Either way, history has been made today. As the celebration continued, Lily and Talia found a quiet moment together near one of the viewport windows. The stars seemed especially bright, the gas giant storms particularly beautiful. What happens now? Lily asked, still processing the mental connection they had briefly shared. Now we build bridges, Talia said, her skin showing patterns of contentment and hope. Between our worlds, between our peoples, starting with us. When they reached the station, The Maraxan ship had changed course and was now heading directly toward it. Commander Walsh immediately called a station-wide alert. "Our defenses are minimal," she told the Valerans. This station was designed for research, not warfare. Nara conferred quickly with her companions, then turned back to Commander Walsh. "We will remain to assist you. Our ship has defensive capabilities that may deter the Maraxans." The Valeran ship positioned itself between the station and the approaching Maraxan vessel. On the station's communication hub, Lily monitored the situation, translating the exchanges between the Valerans and Maraxans for Commander Walsh. "The Maraxans are demanding we leave the system," Lily reported. "They claim this sector falls under their—" The closest translation would be right of expansion. Nara is explaining that this system is monitored by the Valeran Collective and that Earth has established a recognized presence here, she continued. The Maraxans are responding that they don't recognize Valeran authority in this region. The tension built as the Maraxan ship continued its approach, now close enough to be visible through the station's main viewport, a massive dark shadow against the stars. Suddenly, the station shook violently. Alarms blared throughout. They fired some kind of energy weapon, the station's engineer shouted over the commotion. "Minimal damage, but our power systems are fluctuating." On the view screen, they could see the Valeran ship moving to intercept. It released a pulse of blue energy that spread out in a wave toward the Maraxan vessel. The larger ship seemed to shudder when the wave hit it, momentarily losing power. "Warning shot," Talia explained, standing close to Lily at the communications console. "A disruption field that temporarily affects their systems." The Maraxans responded with another blast, this one directed at the Valeran ship. The smaller vessel evaded gracefully, its maneuverability evident. "Nara is informing them that an attack on either us or your station will be considered an act of aggression against the entire Valeran collective." Lily translated from the ongoing communication. For several tense minutes, the standoff continued. Then the Maraxan ship stopped its advance. "They're responding," Lily said, listening carefully to the transmission. "They say they were unaware of formal Valeran protection in the system. They're requesting verification of status. A face-saving measure," Talia whispered to Lily. "They're backing down but don't want to appear weak." Nara transmitted a series of codes and symbols to the Maraxan ship. After reviewing them, the Maraxans acknowledged the Valeran claim and announced they would withdraw from the immediate area, though they maintained that adjacent unclaimed systems fell within their expansion rights. As the Maraxan ship slowly turned away, everyone on the station breathed a collective sigh of relief. "That was too close," Commander Walsh said. "We need to discuss the implications of this encounter." In the following days, representatives from the station and the Valeran outpost met frequently. The Valerans offered to extend their protection to the human station formally, but this raised questions about independence and potential obligations. "Earth needs to know about this situation," Commander Walsh insisted during one meeting. "We can't make decisions of this magnitude without consulting our governments." "We understand," Nara agreed. "But be aware that the Maraxans will return, possibly with a larger force. They rarely give up what they consider a potential acquisition." While the official discussions continued, Lily and Talia spent more time together. Talia had remained on the station as a cultural liaison, while Nara returned to the outpost to coordinate with the Valeran collective. One evening, they sat in the station's small observatory watching the stars. The gas giant loomed large in the view, its swirling storms a constant reminder of the powerful forces at work in the universe. "Your people must think we're primitive," Lily said, thinking about the vast technological gap between humans and Valerans. "Not at all," Talia replied. "Your development has been remarkably rapid. What took us thousands of years, you've accomplished in centuries. That's why some species view humans with caution. Like the Maraxans." Talia's skin rippled with patterns of concern. The Maraxans see any emerging species as either a potential threat to eliminate or a resource to exploit. But they're not the only ones watching Earth's expansion into space. "Are there others like them?" Lily asked, suddenly feeling the vulnerability of humanity's position more acutely. "The galaxy is full of different civilizations with different values," Talia explained. "Some peaceful, some aggressive, many simply focused on their own concerns. The Valeran collective maintains relationships with dozens of species, trying to promote stability." She turned to face Lily directly. "This incident has accelerated a decision the collective has been considering for some time. We believe humanity is ready for formal introduction to the wider galactic community. Lily's eyes widened. What would that mean exactly? Initially, information exchange. Later, perhaps trade, cultural sharing, technology transfer at appropriate levels. Eventually, if your governments agree, Earth could become an associate member of the collective. The implications were enormous. Humanity would no longer be alone, no longer limited to its own solar system. The possibilities were both exciting and frightening. Some people on Earth will be afraid, Lily said honestly. Change of this magnitude is scary, Talia nodded. Fear is natural, but we believe the benefits far outweigh the risks. And her skin flushed with colors Lily hadn't seen before. Soft pinks and gentle golds. There could be personal connections as well as diplomatic ones. Lily felt her heart beat faster, understanding the unspoken meaning. Is that possible? Between different species? The Valeran believe in connections that transcend physical differences, Talia said softly. Mind to mind, spirit to spirit. As they talked, an alert sounded on the station, not the harsh alarm of an emergency, but the notification of an incoming message. It's from Earth, the communications officer announced over the station-wide system. They've received our reports about the Valeran contact. A diplomatic team is being sent immediately. Estimated arrival in 3 weeks. The news spread quickly through the station. Earth's response had been faster than expected, a sign of how seriously they were taking the first contact situation. Later that evening, Commander Walsh called a meeting with the senior staff and Talia. Earth is scrambling to put together a proper diplomatic mission, she informed them. Until they arrive, we're to continue friendly relations but make no binding agreements. What about the Moraxan threat? Dr. Rivera asked. I've emphasized that in my reports, Walsh replied. Hopefully the diplomats will understand the complexity of the situation we're facing. Talia spoke up. The collective is sending representatives as well. This will be the first formal diplomatic exchange between our peoples. The commander looked at Lily. Baker, you've worked most closely with the Valerans. I want you to prepare a comprehensive brief for the Earth delegation. Include everything you've learned about Valeran culture, communication styles, potential misunderstandings to avoid. Yes, Commander, Lily nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. After the meeting, Talia walked with Lily back to her quarters. This is an important moment for both our species, she said. What happens in the coming weeks could shape the relationship between humans and Valerans for generations. Lily stopped outside her door. I'm worried about getting everything right. There's so much at stake. Talia's hand moved hesitantly toward Lily's, their fingers almost touching. Perhaps I could help you prepare the briefing. There are nuances to Valeran communication that might be difficult for you to explain without assistance. I'd appreciate that, Lily said sincerely. Then gathering her courage, she added, Would you like to come in? We could start now. Talia's skin flushed with those same soft pink and gold colors as before. I would like that very much. I've completed part 3 of your story with exactly 1,200 words. This part focuses on the threat from the Moraxans, the diplomatic situation that develops afterward, and the deepening connection between Lily and Talia. Now I'll create part 4 for you. Over the next 2 weeks, Lily and Talia worked closely together preparing for the arrival of the Earth delegation. They spent hours discussing the subtle aspects of Valeran culture that might not be obvious to humans. Physical touch has different meanings for us, Talia explained one evening as they sat in Lily's quarters surrounded by data tablets. Among Valerans, casual touch is rare except between those with deep bonds. Lily nodded, making notes. That's important for the diplomats to know. Humans often use handshakes or even hugs in diplomatic settings. Yes, we've observed this. We've adapted to some human customs, but it would help if your people understood our natural preferences. Their work sessions frequently extended late into the station's artificial night. Sometimes they would take breaks, sharing stories about their respective worlds. Lily told Talia about growing up in the Midwestern United States, about forests and lakes in changing seasons. Talia described the Valeran homeworld with its 3 moons and perpetual twilight in the habitable regions. Our sun is older than yours, Talia explained. Cooler. Our eyes evolved to see well in lower light conditions. The station hummed with its usual mechanical rhythm, the sound of air recyclers and power systems creating a constant background noise that Lily had learned to tune out. She pressed her hand against the thick glass, feeling the cold that separated her from the vacuum of space. A soft chime from her wrist device broke her thoughts. It was time for her shift. With a last look at the stars, she turned and walked through the curved corridor toward the communications hub. The station's design was efficient but sterile. All metal and composite materials with minimal decoration, except for a few personal items crew members kept in their quarters. Lily nodded to Ming, who was finishing her shift at communications. The older woman looked tired but managed to smile. "Anything interesting?" Lily asked, sliding into the seat as Ming stood up. "Just the usual automated signals from Earth and the mining outposts," Ming said. "But there was something strange about an hour ago. A signal burst I couldn't identify. It didn't match any known pattern." Lily raised her eyebrows. "Did you report it?" "Yes, Commander Walsh knows. She said to flag it if it happens again." Ming stretched her back. "I've been staring at these screens too long. I need sleep." After Ming left, Lily checked the logs. The strange signal had lasted only a few seconds. Too short to analyze properly. She set up an alert to notify her if anything similar appeared, then began her routine monitoring tasks. 3 hours into her shift, the alert sounded. A signal, similar to what Ming had described but stronger, was coming through. Lily quickly activated all recording systems and began analysis protocols. The pattern was unlike anything in their databases, not human in origin, not matching any known cosmic phenomenon. Her heart raced as she realized what this might mean. First contact. After decades of searching the stars, humanity might finally have found evidence of intelligent alien life. She opened a channel to Commander Walsh's quarters. "Commander, this is Baker at Communications. I'm picking up the unknown signal again. It's stronger this time." Commander Walsh's voice came through clearly. "I'll be right there. Don't send any response yet." Within minutes, the commander arrived, her gray hair pulled back in a tight bun, face serious. She leaned over Lily's console, studying the pattern. "It's repeating," Lily said. "Every 90 seconds, the exact same sequence." "A beacon," Walsh murmured. "Or a warning." The station's chief scientist, Dr. Rivera, joined them soon after, his eyes wide with excitement behind round glasses. "Is it true?" "A non-human signal? We can't confirm that yet," Walsh said cautiously. "But it's definitely not one of ours." For the next hour, they analyzed the signal, calling in other specialists. The excitement spread through the station as crew members woke up and heard the news. Lily remained at her post, recording everything, trying different analysis methods. "I think I can determine the direction," she said finally. "It's coming from the Epsilon sector, specifically from near that large gas giant we've been monitoring." Dr. Rivera nodded eagerly. "That planet has several moons. We've detected unusual energy readings from the third one, but haven't had a chance to investigate closely." Commander Walsh stood straight, making her decision. "We need to send a probe. Prepare one immediately." Within 2 hours, they launched a small unmanned probe toward the gas giant's third moon. It would take nearly a day to reach its destination. Meanwhile, the signal continued, unchanging in its pattern. Lily barely slept during her off-shift, too excited by the possibilities. When she returned to the communications hub, the atmosphere on the station had changed. There was tension mixed with the excitement now. "The probe is almost there," Dr. Rivera told her, "but something strange is happening. The signal has changed frequency. It's almost as if it knows we're coming," Commander Walsh finished. Lily took her position, monitoring the incoming data. The probe sent back images as it approached the moon, a rocky, cratered surface with strange formations that didn't look natural. And then as the probe moved to the dark side of the moon, they saw it. A structure, geometric, metallic, clearly artificial, rising from the surface like a massive antenna. Around it, smaller structures clustered, connected by what looked like pathways. "That's not human," Dr. Rivera whispered unnecessarily. Nobody spoke for several long moments as the implications sank in. The probe continued its approach, sending more detailed images. The structure appeared dormant, no signs of movement or activity visible. Yet the signal still pulsed from it, reaching out into space. "Should we try to respond?" Lily asked finally. Commander Walsh considered this carefully. "We need to report to Earth first, but the communication delay is 19 hours each way. By protocol, I have authority to make first contact decisions in situations where delay could result in lost opportunity." She turned to Lily. Prepare a response signal. Use the mathematical sequence we developed for potential first contact. Simple prime numbers, basic universal constants. Lily's hands trembled slightly as she programmed the response. This was history in the making, and she was at the center of it. The message was brief, a series of pulses representing prime numbers followed by the value of pi to several decimal places. Universal mathematical constants that any advanced civilization should recognize. They sent the signal and waited. The response came faster than anyone expected. Just minutes later, a new signal pattern emerged. This one was more complex, but clearly related to what they had sent. It repeated the prime number sequence, but added new elements. They're communicating, Lily breathed. They understand. For the next several hours, they exchanged increasingly complex mathematical sequences. The alien responses came faster each time, showing an impressive ability to analyze and respond. Then suddenly, the signal changed completely. A data burst hit their systems, massive and complex. Their computers struggled to process it. When they finally did, what emerged was shocking. It was an image, crude but unmistakable, a humanoid figure standing next to what appeared to be a representation of their space station. "They know what we look like," Dr. Rivera said, his voice hushed. "They've been watching us." Before anyone could respond, the station's proximity alarms blared. Something was approaching fast. The radar showed an object much larger than their probe on a direct course for the station. Commander Walsh hit the station-wide alert. "All personnel to emergency stations. Unknown vessel approaching." Through the viewing windows, they could see it now. A sleek craft with an unusual design unlike any human vessel. It slowed as it approached, coming to a relative stop about a kilometer from the station. No further signals came. They waited, tense minutes stretching into an hour. What are they waiting for? Dr. Rivera wondered aloud. Lily studied her console. I think they're waiting for an invitation." Commander Walsh looked at her sharply. "What makes you say that?" The last mathematical sequence they sent included what could be interpreted as a query. If I'm reading it correctly, they're asking permission to approach closer. After a brief discussion with the senior staff, Commander Walsh made her decision. Send them clearance to approach the visitor's docking area. Alert security to stand by, but no weapons visible. We want to appear peaceful. Lily sent the message, her heart pounding so hard she could feel it in her throat. The alien vessel began moving again, slowly and deliberately approaching the docking bay designed for visiting supply ships. The entire station crew watched through various camera feeds as the ship expertly maneuvered into position. It was smaller than it had first appeared, perhaps designed for a crew of 5 or 6, assuming its occupants were roughly human-sized. Soft thud echoed through the station as the ship made contact. With the docking mechanism, "They've matched our airlock design perfectly," one of the engineers commented with professional admiration. "They must have been studying us for some time." Commander Walsh led a small reception team to the airlock. Lily was included due to her role in the communication. They waited as the connection was secured and pressure equalized. The inner door of the airlock slid open. I've completed part 1 of the story with exactly 1,200 words. It introduces our main character, Lily, sets up a space station setting, and builds to the exciting moment of first contact with an alien species. Now I'll create part 2 for you. Lily held her breath as the airlock door opened completely. Steam billowed out as pressure differences equalized, temporarily obscuring the entrance. When it cleared, Lily gasped. 3 figures stood in the doorway. They were humanoid, but clearly not human. Taller than average people, with slender bodies covered in what looked like form-fitting suits made of a shimmering material that changed colors subtly as they moved. Their skin was pale lavender, almost translucent in places, but it was their faces that drew Lily's attention most. Delicate features with large almond-shaped eyes that seemed to shift between purple and silver depending on the light. No hair was visible on their smooth heads. All 3 were female, at least according to human understanding of sexual dimorphism. They carried no visible weapons. The one in the center stepped forward slightly, her gaze moving from one human to another before settling on Commander Walsh. "We greet you," the alien said, her voice melodic and surprisingly clear, with only a slight accent. "I am Nara, first emissary of the Valoran Collective. Commandy." Commander Walsh managed to hide her shock at hearing perfect English. "I am Commander Walsh of Earth's International Space Research Station." We welcome you, Nara inclined her head slightly. We have studied your transmissions for many years. Your languages were not difficult to learn. They had been invited to bring the visitors to the station's conference room, but Lily couldn't take her eyes off the aliens as they walked. Their movements were fluid, almost gliding, and they seemed to observe everything with intense curiosity. In the conference room, the three Valorans sat across from the humans. Besides Commander Walsh and Lily, Dr. Rivera and the station's security chief, Olivia Grant, were present. We have known of your presence in this system for some time, Nara explained. Your species is young but advancing quickly. We decided it was time to make formal contact. Why now? Commander Walsh asked. You are expanding into space that borders territories of several advanced species, Nara said. Some are not as peaceful as the Valoran. We thought it wise to establish relations before misunderstandings could occur. The implications were clear. Humanity had been unknowingly moving into dangerous territory. The Valeran Collective includes 17 star systems, continued Nara. We are primarily explorers and scholars. We have existed as a unified culture for what you would measure as 8,000 years. Dr. Rivera couldn't contain his scientific curiosity. Your biology appears similar to ours in basic structure. Is this common among intelligent species? One of the other Valorans, who had been introduced as Lyra, answered. Bipedal oxygen-breathing species with similar sensory arrangements are one common evolutionary path. Yes, there are others quite different from either of us. The third Valeran, Talia, had been quiet until now. We are interested in cultural exchange. Our preliminary studies suggest our species are compatible in terms of psychology and basic needs, despite obvious differences. The meeting continued for hours, covering basic information about both species and their societies. The Valerans explained they had established an outpost on the moon they called Valen 3, which had been sending the signal as a standard protocol when they detected the human station moving into the sector. When the meeting concluded, Commander Walsh assigned Lily to serve as the primary liaison with the Valeran visitors. You established the initial communication. They seem comfortable with you, she explained. Lily spent the next 3 days showing the Valerans around the station, answering their questions and learning about their culture. They were particularly interested in human art, music, and literature. Your species creates so prolifically, Nara commented as Lily showed them the station's small recreation area, where prints of famous Earth paintings hung on the walls. Valorans tend to create less frequently, but spend years or decades on single works. Lily found herself drawn especially to Talia, the quietest of the three. Unlike the others, who maintained a formal, diplomatic approach, Talia showed more personal curiosity about humans. Your emotional responses are stronger than ours, Talia observed as they watched some off-duty crew members laughing over a card game, more visible. Is this difficult to manage? Sometimes, Lily admitted. But emotions also give us strength and motivation. Talia considered this. We have emotions too, but express them differently, more subtly. She demonstrated by changing the color patterns on her skin, shifting through soft blues and purples. Colors show what we feel. Lily was fascinated. That's beautiful. What does that particular pattern mean? Interest, curiosity, a desire to understand. Talia's eyes met Lily's directly. You specifically interest me, Lily Baker. The statement made Lily flush slightly. There was something in Talia's gaze that seemed more than just scientific curiosity. On the 4th day, the Valerans invited Commander Walsh and a small delegation to visit their outpost on Valen 3. After careful consideration, she agreed. A team consisting of Commander Walsh, Dr. Rivera, Lily, and 2 others would travel on the Valeran ship. The journey took only a few hours, their ship moving at speeds beyond what human technology could achieve. Looking out the viewport, Lily watched the gas giant grow larger, its swirling storms creating mesmerizing patterns across its surface. The moon they approached was rocky and barren on the surface, but as they descended through a hidden entrance, Lily saw that the Valeran outpost extended deep underground. The interior was breathtaking. Vast chambers with soaring ceilings, filled with plants unlike any Lily had seen. Water flowed through channels along curved walls, creating a constant gentle sound. The lighting was soft and seemed to come from the walls themselves. This outpost has existed for 300 of your years, Nara explained as they toured the facility. It serves as our monitoring station for this sector. We have similar posts throughout the galaxy. Dr. Rivera was busy taking readings with his portable devices, his expression one of wonder. The technology here is centuries beyond ours, he murmured to Commander Walsh. The Valerans showed them living quarters, research facilities, and a large central chamber that Nara described as their community space. Throughout the tour, Lily noticed Talia stayed close to her, occasionally pointing out details the others missed. Would you like to see something few outsiders have experienced? Talia asked Lily quietly when the others were occupied examining some Valoran scientific equipment. Curious, Lily nodded. Talia led her through a side passage into a smaller chamber. Inside was what looked like a garden, but unlike anything on Earth. Plants with translucent leaves pulsed with inner light, and flowers opened and closed in rhythmic patterns. This is a reflection garden, Talia explained. It responds to the emotions of those present. As she spoke, the plants nearest her shifted to match the color patterns on her skin. Lily stepped closer to one of the plants, and it responded by turning a warm golden color. What does that mean? She asked. It senses your wonder and openness, Talia said, moving to stand beside her. Our species are different in many ways, but perhaps not so different in what matters most. Their hands were close, almost touching on the smooth stone rail that encircled the garden. Lily felt a strange connection to this alien being, something beyond diplomatic duties or scientific curiosity. Why did you really bring me here? Lily asked softly. Talia's skin rippled with patterns of deep blue and violet. The collective chose our team carefully for this contact mission. I was selected partly because I have always been fascinated by the idea of other intelligent life. But meeting you specifically has been more significant than I anticipated. The plants around them pulsed in synchrony with Talia's colors. Lily felt her heart beating faster, uncertain what was happening but somehow knowing it was important. There is much our peoples can learn from each other, Talia continued. But beyond the official diplomatic exchange, I believe there is value in more personal connections. Before Lily could respond, an alarm sounded throughout the facility. The plants in the garden instantly turned a harsh red. Talia's expression changed to one of concern. We must return to the others, she said urgently. That signal indicates an unauthorized ship has entered the system. They hurried back to the main chamber, where they found the other humans and Valorans gathered around a large holographic display. It showed a ship, larger than the Valoran vessel and with a design neither human nor Valoran. Moraxans, Nara said, her voice tense. They claim territory in the adjacent sector. They are not part of the collective and are known for aggressive expansion. Commander Walsh looked alarmed. Are they a threat to our station? Possibly, Nara replied. They consider all unclaimed resources their right to take. They may see your presence as an opportunity or a challenge. I've completed part 2 of your story with exactly 1,200 words. This part introduces the aliens called the Valorans, particularly focusing on Talia and her connection with Lily, and ends with the introduction of a potential threat from another alien species. Now I'll create part 3 for you. The holographic display showed the Moraxan ship moving closer to the moon. It was at least 3 times larger than the Valoran vessel, with a dark angular design that somehow communicated aggression even in its shape. They're scanning us. One of the Valerans at a control panel announced. Nara turned to Commander Walsh. We should return you to your station immediately. If the Moraxans detect humans here, they may see it as an alliance forming. That could provoke them. What about your outpost? Lily asked Talia, concerned. We can protect ourselves, Talia assured her. This facility has defenses, but your station is vulnerable. They moved quickly to the Valeran ship. As they boarded, Lily noticed additional Valerans preparing what looked like weapons, slender, curved devices that hummed with energy. The journey back to the human station was tense. Nara explained more about the Moraxans as they traveled. They evolved on a resource-poor world and developed a culture centered on acquisition. They believe anything they can take is rightfully theirs. Several species have lost colonies to them. Why haven't the Valeran collective stopped them? Dr. Rivera asked. The collective avoids direct conflict whenever possible, Nara said. We maintain defensive capabilities but prefer diplomatic solutions. Unfortunately, the Moraxans respect only strength.